Good morning everybody and welcome to a brand new series on the book of Acts. Like we've been doing through lockdown, each day we're going to be looking at a different chapter together. I love the book of Acts. It's one of my favourite books in the Bible, and in fact a few years ago I essentially read Acts for the whole year. Every time I tried to read another book of the Bible, I felt God saying to me, go back to Acts, Kirsty, go back to Acts. Acts is essentially a two-part story. We're starting off with Luke's Gospel, and then Luke continues the story of the early church into Acts. This is a story of how the church became established, and the thread running through the book of Acts is that all of this was done through the power and the purpose of the Holy Spirit. We are meant to be a people on fire and alive and excited for our faith. So today we're looking at chapter 1 of Acts, and verse 13 states this. When they entered the city, they went upstairs to the upper room where they were staying. And in the original text, this confers indefinitely. They were staying indefinitely. Jesus had told them to go and to wait for the Spirit to come to them. I don't know about you, but I can be so impatient with God. I don't like waiting for Him to come through. I can pray in faith and power for a day, maybe 2 days, and if I don't get my answer or I don't see it come through the way I want it to be, I get impatient. I move on. I either change what I'm praying for to something else, or I try and make it happen myself. Not so the disciples. They waited together, they prayed, they worshipped, they had fellowship together. The first chapter of Acts encourages us to tarry upon God, encourages us to wait with Him and for Him. And sometimes we need to do that in our prayer life. It's not just about getting through the chapters of the Bible, reading down our prayer list. It's actually waiting in God's presence for Him to come and to speak to us. Also, it means being faithful while we're waiting for that answer to prayer, while we're waiting for that healing, for that job, for that breakthrough. We need to wait patiently. And I wonder about the disciples. I'm sure some of them had doubts. I'm certainly sure Thomas had his doubts and his anxieties and his worries, and he wasn't sure whether God was going to come through or if this was the right thing to do. It's okay to have doubts. It's okay to have questions. But the disciples still followed what Jesus had told them to do. They waited for Him. And they didn't just sit there watching Netflix and eating biscuits, but as I said, they prayed, they worshipped, they talked together. Our waiting time is not a waste. Our waiting time actually is our preparation time. I wonder, what are you going to do in your waiting time of life? What are you waiting to see God come through for you? I encourage you to pray, to worship, to keep seeking God, to keep the faith. Church, we need to be patient. We need to wait. We need to seek God. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.